People recently have asked me a few questions about ambition. What happens to ambition if you're not resisting life anymore? If you feel as if you're already at peace, then where does kind of progress go? What happens? And I would say that ambition maybe used to be about you feeling you were missing something and now trying to get something in the future and feeling excited about getting that thing. Perhaps that used to work, but now it doesn't work. So really all of this video is for people who feel like the old model of me going after something to get something. People who feel like that framework isn't working anymore, there's not much power in it because they feel they aren't excited so much about becoming something or getting something. So I think when your attention is no longer so much up here in concepts, in the idea of yourself, and it's more spread in presence and life, and there's a sense of oneness, there starts to be a more natural, intuitive flow to life. So it's not like your intellect is interrupting all the time, thinking it knows what's best. You act more off feeling and intuition and kind of the natural intelligence that's here, that's everywhere, starts to flow through you easier. And that can sometimes emerge in a form of kind of ambition or goals, but it feels like it's coming from beyond you, or it's coming from a deeper place inside you rather than just me and what I want to get. It's more of a, I don't know, I suppose it feels more inspired. It might feel like a more collective vision, and it feels more creative. People talk about the law of attraction, and people ask about how law of attraction fits in with all this kind of thing. And I would say law of attraction becomes more natural in that you feel the creative expression of life flowing through you. And it's important not to get into right and wrong or any kind of suppression. So if you feel, say if someone, for example, felt like it would be great to own a new car, and then their mind goes, but that's not spiritual, you shouldn't want that, then they suppress it. But if it's a natural feeling, just to feel that, then let that be. It's all about not suppressing, not going against yourself. So then the natural things have power, they have space to move and be powerful, and the tight, useless things have space to be resolved or dissolved. So if you feel like it's exciting or good to have any kind of vision or kind of visualization, if that feels good, then that feels good. Leave it at that. You don't have to question what feels good. And then things become much more natural. If you want something, someone messaged me saying they were trying not to want the things that they want. And I think it's quite common that people become sometimes obsessed or sometimes caught up in the idea of not having an ego, that they suppress their natural flow, their natural movements, their natural preferences. So if you want something, then that's it. Let yourself want it. But the difference, being less up here, the difference can be that you can feel like you already have it much easier. Your mind isn't going, but I don't have it yet, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it. You can feel what it's like to have it, and it feels good. And from there, if this thing up here isn't questioning everything or resisting everything, trying to be a perfect kind of spiritual version, then naturally actions flow, actions happen unrestricted. So it's about not restricting yourself. And I think every kind of expression of life is different. Every human being is different. Some people are naturally ambitious. They have these visions And that ambition, I don't think, it can mean different things to different people. I don't think it's necessarily egotistical. It can just be a creative vision, and there's a lot of power going to that, and someone just acts on that. Someone else might not be ambitious. Someone else might not have so much a vision of what they want to get, but they enjoy creating things. And as long as there's no kind of resistance or negativity about getting things, then their life will flow pretty well. I think everyone's different and it varies. When you feel like you're more one with life, life uses you rather than you trying to use life to get stuff. Life uses you to create stuff, and in that creation there's a fullness, and so things can come, and you give things as well. It's like one creation. It's not split into different things like get this, give that, get this, give that. It's more whole. I don't know if that makes sense. And I think that was it. If you're not resisting life anymore, life flows through you easily. It's when there's resistance that things get clogged. When we have ideas about what's good and what's bad, especially in terms of how we should be, how we should act, what we should want, what we shouldn't want. When people talk about desirelessness, if you really don't want anything, then you're happy. And if you listen to law of attraction teachings, it's not actually about wanting to get things, it's about feeling as if you already have them. So not about wanting so much, but about already having. And the more you fall kind of back into the presence of life, that presence of life contains and is everything. There's not a separation anymore. So you do feel like you have stuff. Stuff maybe is just the wrong word, but just feel like you have, or you are, the totality, which contains everything. And some people can think, well, if I felt like I had this thing, then I wouldn't work for it. Actually, you probably would, because that interpretation of I wouldn't do this if I felt like this is just another conditioning. It's not really true. But it would be true if you believe that, and if you paid a lot of attention to this conditioned resistive reflex that tends to live up here, that thinks it knows stuff. And if you don't have any kind of ambition, or if you don't have a direction, you don't know what you want to do, you don't even feel like you have much of a flow in life, then let that be. See what it's like to not resist that. Because the whole world, especially with so much kind of self-help internet stuff, everyone's talking about having a dream and living that dream, having a goal and living that goal, going towards that goal, working towards what you want. And if you don't have that, it can feel like you're wrong or something's not working. But the main trouble is resisting that. It's resisting not having a vision. There might be something that comes through you, but while there's resistance to how you are and non-acceptance of the present experience, then it's like there's a little battle going on between a kind of separate self and all these other energies that are happening inside, and there's no space for things to flow out. Not everything has to be planned out. I remember when I've written most of the books I've written, they just came. They just came out. But at the same time, someone else might have an idea inside them for a long time and have a plan to do something, and that works as well. So I don't think there are any strict rules about what works and what doesn't, because it depends on you. But the main thing is to not resist yourself. and let things